morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the first Consciousness Cafe of the new year. I'm Natalia Zukerman, happy to be here with SoulCall Ministries. And I am so excited to be joined by the wonderful Sadie Greenberg.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Sadie is an amazing, amazing young artist who lives in New York City. You're in your last year of high school at LaGuardia, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but LaGuardia, tell us a little bit about LaGuardia as a specifically arts high school, yes?
Yes. So it's a school that you have to like audition to get into. It's like a specialized high school apart from the other New York City high schools, and there's like I think six majors, and one of them is visual arts. And so when you're in your first 2 years, you have to take 2 hours every day of studio practice. And then once you're a junior and a senior, you choose your own majors within the art program, which is 2 hours a day of whatever you choose. So there's like painting, sculpture, architecture, all these different programs, and it's really, really, really amazing.
Yeah. And so do you remember your audition? What did you have to do?
Um, like you have to write an essay and bring in your portfolio, and then there's also like a live drawing component, and you had to draw I think a couple of things from imagination, and then also the figure in front of you. So yeah, it took like 5 hours. It was very long.
I remember when you did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember your drawings back then and how the evolution of your style and how you've grown into such an incredible
Thank
draftswoman.
you.
Yeah, and I remember though back then you were sort of feeling like this is just something I'm going to do to get through high school. I
Yeah.
don't really necessarily like art. Is that still true for you?
Well, definitely not. I think mostly like I think that like throughout my first couple of years of high school, like all this like sort of boring, lifeless training was really, really like intense. But then like once quarantine started, I sort of started finding myself more and like what mediums I liked and just doing stuff that I wasn't really able to do in school. And like I definitely more now think of it as something that I like genuinely want to pursue and carry it on to the rest of my life, which is a very nice feeling.
That's really exciting. I
Yeah.
love that this time too of quarantine, we try to focus on some of the silver linings, and one of them is definitely this time and space to really think about what we want. And I mean, I should just say, in full disclosure, I have known Sadie since I think I met you when you were about 3 days old. So I've known you your whole life, and I always knew you to be such a creative child. So to hear that really warms my heart. I'm so happy to know. And Sadie got into college already, right? You got
Yeah.
into SUNY Purchase, which is one of the wonderful New York State schools. And you think you'll go there and study art in the fall?
Um, I I think I'm gonna double major in art and journalism. That's my plan right now. Yeah.
So you've been doing actually kind of this type of thing. You interview people and you've done little sort of documentaries. I watched a few that you did.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a YouTube channel or a way that we can see some of that?
Yeah, they're on my YouTube channel, Basement Generation, and I it's like a project that I did a couple of years ago with my friend, and we interviewed bands and different creatives in New York City, and we made like little mini documentaries of each of them. So
Yeah, they're incredible.
thank
It's
you.
really exciting to watch. And so this project that your dad sent me some images of what you've been making, and I was so blown away by these. Sadie's been getting photograph commissions from people, and then you create dolls. Do you call them dolls, or what do you
Yeah,
call them? Yeah,
doll.
and you have a few here. So tell us about the process. People send you in a photograph, and then you create a little doll of it from their image.
Yeah, so I basically it starts there's two different sizes of the dolls that they can get, and so this one is like the full sized one, and then this one would be the smaller one, the miniature one.
Oh my gosh, they're
And
so amazing. Can you hold
and
it a little closer? We can see the material. Wow. Amazing.
Thank you. And basically, I will just ask them to send me like photos of their outfit that they want, but mostly their face. And then from there, I sort of like I make the molds for the bodies ahead of time out of aluminum foil and like I think 12 gauge uh like these bendy wires. And so I'll make those and then I sort of start customizing it with living doll polymer clay. Um, and it really depends on like each doll is super unique to how long it will take. Like this one took me like 11 hours and I
Wow.
think this one took me um like 5 hours. So it's all like it just depends on the amount of detail in the outfit and like what I'm cuz yeah, like if I'm what I'm figuring out what I'm going to do during it.
Mm-hmm. And so does that polymer clay, does it take a while to dry? Do you have to oven dry it?
Yeah, you have to bake it for I usually bake mine for about 20 minutes, but it depends on the size. And then after that, you have to let it cool because once it comes out of the oven, it's still a little bit bendy.
Mm-hmm.
But once you let it cool for like half an hour, it's totally hard. So,
Wow. Did you just do sort of trial and error? How did you figure out how to create this?
yeah, so I actually made one or I was thinking of a birthday gift to get my friend back in like August, I think. And I thought, oh, like a sculpture of him might be really cool because usually for people's birthdays, like I'll draw them something or paint them something. But I was sort of a little bit bored of that, and I was like, it might be fun to to make a little sculpture. And at first, so I went to the Blick near my house, and I was planning on just making like his head. But then I sort of started after just playing with it for a super long time because I started like 2 weeks before I was even planning on giving it to him. And the first one took me definitely the longest amount of time. I think like 20 hours or something because
Wow.
I was totally unsure of what to do and like molding it was super hard and I like couldn't really figure out the proportions. But yeah, so and then I painted it. I got these I think they're called Vallejo or Vallejo acrylic paints and they're like the nicest colors and but they're a little bit wet so they take a long time to paint.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely like I tried out other paints too and these are definitely they yield the nicest results. And I think that they're like the skin tones of them are very, very nice.
So now that you've done all this trial and error, you have a process and you know a little bit more of the parameters of time it'll take you. So
Yeah.
when somebody sends you an image in an outfit, you can say, "Oh, this one's going to take me 5, 6
Yeah.
hours or more." And yeah, do you get? So tell me about that. While you're making it, are you just lost in the process? What do you do? Do you listen to music? Do you daydream? What's your kind of way to go
Um,
about your work?
usually I've been going through like different TV shows as I work, but it's sort of like mindlessly watching, but like I still will sort of take in the plot. At first, I don't even remember but the most recent show that I have worked on while doing sculptures was Orange is the New Black, and I just finished it. And I think it took me like 7 or 6 sculptures to do.
Wow,
But
I'm amazed that you can do that at the same time.
yeah, I am too because like it's I don't know. It's I like I'm very surprised by the amount of information that I can take in from the show while I'm doing it, but it's definitely like doing these are is like very relaxing for me too. So it's not like very frustrating or makes me angry or anything like trying to figure it out. So like it's easy to concentrate.
Yeah. Does it help you? I mean, are you somebody who has anxiety? I mean, you grew up in New York City. It's sort of part and parcel of who we are, but does it help you kind of just relax? You said it makes you relax and
Yeah,
an
I
escape.
yeah, definitely. Like even before um quarantine, I was like struggling a lot with my mental health and obviously quarantine didn't really help that. But like definitely having this as an outlet and a way to it's like just so nice to have something to do that I genuinely care about doing, and it's not like in like the first part of quarantine I was just sitting around all day, like literally doing nothing, and this has made me like have a goal to work towards, especially when I have like commissions and like a whole list of things to do. It is definitely like very helpful.
Yeah, creativity is such a powerful friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really. I know too, and I'm somebody who struggles with mental health as well. I have my whole life, and art and music has always been a place to go to offer solace to me, and then to be able to create this gift for somebody else is such a
Yeah.
beautiful offering. So, Sadie, how can people reach you for commissions uh, to make these puppets for them?
So mostly I take commissions through my art account, which is X Kids, and that's spelled with two D's. So XKIDDS, and just through DM. Um, that's how I take most of my commissions.
So, direct messages from Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I bet you're going to get a whole onslaught of requests at this point. I want to ask a question about the mouths that you create. Can you hold one up again and show us? Yeah. So everyone, they always have an X in the mouth. What was that
Yeah.
decision about?
Well, that's how I draw like my cartoon, more like my more unrealistic drawings. Um, I think it was partially inspired by Miffy the Bunny. When I was like in middle school, I just started drawing my mouths like that.
I remember that. Miffy the Bunny. Yeah.
But I just sort of went with it, and even though sometimes like I've actually experimented with doing the mouth before on my first one, but I just like them way more with the X, and it's become like it's on all of my sculptures now. So
Do you know the cartoon Coraline?
yes.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of that. And do you have some other influences people's art that you look at?
Well, one uh, person that I've been really enjoying who does sculptures as well is this girl on Instagram. I think her name is Ariel, and her Instagram is Faux Schmo or something. And she does really, really amazing sculptures, and um, and she makes like these process videos, which I've definitely
Mm.
like learned a couple of things from, and like she uses rubbing alcohol to make the sculptures more smooth, and I've
Mm.
definitely like picked up a couple of tips like that from her videos. So she's definitely been a big influence on me.
That's so cool. Have you ever reached out to her on Instagram?
Not as of yet, but I would definitely like to like talk to her in person.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, what an amazing resource to have.
Yeah.
There's such incredible art. Social media, sometimes we get so inundated with these images and information and false information. And so to be able to have this as a network for other artists, it's a
Mhm.
great resource.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you think back at being a kid, doodling and things like that, do you think was there any glimmer of knowing? When did you know that you were going to be an artist?
Well, I think in like second grade or something, my parents bought me this book of like all these drawings and how to draw them, and I brought it into school the next day, and me and everyone in my class, we started drawing off of them. And I have definitely like I think that book was definitely the beginning, because I would look at it, like look through it all the time, and yeah, I think that started my enjoyment of art in general.
So a book your parents gave you at an early age and then just diving in and trying things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, Sadie, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us today. I'm so excited to watch this evolution of your work and your life. And as you emerge on this adventure of college and continuing your education and your artwork, I know the breadth and scope of your work over your life is going to be magnificent and beautiful to watch. So
Thank
thank you
you.
for letting us witness.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Sadie. You're awesome. Thank you for being with us. And I look forward to hugging you in person sometime soon.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so awesome.
Bye.